So today I want to talk to you about integration into our virtual spaces. Now this one's really important, right? Because it actually, of all the things that you can do, this one is often the one that's the most neglected, yet it offers us some of the biggest rates of return. So what's ideal? What does good look like? Well, firstly, it's about making sure that people have access to it on the devices that they're currently using. So they can be mobile, can be tablet, whatever it is, right? Now, 99% of the time, that comes off the shelf. So that should be an easy one, but make sure it's happening because, again, it's often overlooked. But again, the other thing is that we're looking to build this ecosystem approach to how social is blended into our worlds, right? And it's not just about, say, using a platform and having social as part of that. It could actually be having data that occurs within a different platform pulled into our social channels so that it can be actioned by the relevant people. So when I'm talking about integration into our virtual environments, please understand that it's two-way, okay? But again, it could be simple as putting it onto our intranet, having it, say, in our Outlook or part of our CRM or any of these sorts of things, right? But ideally what we want is we want it to permeate across our digital spaces and devices. So people stumble into using social in the virtual spaces that they're already spending time, right? It's presented within context. And it's given context within and by our technology. So it makes it easier to start to engage, and it minimizes the steps people need to do in order to access the information that's important to them. And it goes both ways. So how do you know if it needs work in this space? Really simply, there's no integration access beyond an internet browser. That's pretty much it. So if that's where you're up to, is just browser based, this needs a lot of work. If it's in the intranet, but maybe that's it, so one or two systems. Parts of the organization have access, but not everybody, so it's not been fully or well integrated. And people have access within a specific context only, so it's within our HR system perhaps, because we all get paid, right? But that's it, it's not integrated anywhere else. So starting to build out a coalition of integrations that drive a chorus of activity is what we're looking to do here. So how mature are you? Have you got any integration? Or have you got like maybe a little bit or one or two, or have you got a full sort of complement of integrations? That's what we're looking to measure. So what's the impact if we don't get this right? Well, people have to remember to log in, right? So it's another thing. It increases the barriers to participation, and they have less of a reason to be there because I'm busy. I've got meetings, I've got all these other things that I need to look at, and it's seen as something separate. It's what we do when we've finished everything else, and that's not good. And it makes it harder to engage because it's not just part of the natural flow, right? If it's presented within a context, then we know to engage within that context. But if that's missing, then again, it takes more barriers, more knowledge that need to be implemented or overcome. So what are the causes of this? Well, usually it's just a lack of education or lack of time. We're low on resources. There's no integration strategy, no planning. And it's often seen as too hard, right? So these are the things that get in the way that we've got to get over. So how do we respond? Well, what we look to do is start to promote the use of existing apps. So make sure it's in your education, make sure it's part of your training and all those sorts of things. Part of induction, that downloading it and having it there. Maybe even make it as part of the standard operating environment that just automatically gets installed on people's whatever it is. Look to insert feeds into the technologies that people already use. So it could be like the intranet, CRM, those sorts of things. Now in doing that, have a look at the audiences that access those tools and go for the ones that have the biggest audiences. And look to automate like updates from aligned systems as well. So if you've got particularly things around customer milestones, if there's an event that occurs in one system, pulling that into your enterprise social network can actually let people across the entire customer management spectrum, from the sales to the project to the whatever it is, to finance, know what's going on. A couple of tips though, as you're going through this process, map the day-to-day user journeys first, right? And identify what technologies they use when, and that's devices and applications. Once you've got that mapped, you should be able to start to see where you can actually integrate this effectively. Every organization has a sweet spot, right? That goes across the majority of the company. Usually it's relating to wages or HR or timesheets or something like that. So that has a natural incentive for people to then engage. So if you've got your social network positioned within that context, you're going to get the biggest exposure to the most amount of people. Now, Also too, if you are going to look to automate posts from third-party applications, it can actually get a little bit too spammy. So what we recommend you do is have them come into a particular group and have hashtags. I usually recommend the customer name and the milestone reached. And it allows people across that customer to follow that hashtag rather than get inundated by all the spam that comes through as a result of these sorts of things. Hope you found that useful. If you want more information, please go to BiddleAccelerator.com, come join the conversation, reach out to me through Twitter, ask a question. Please use the BiddleAccelerator hashtag and have a brilliant day. Thanks.